Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Brandon, how are you?
How are you doing?
Good, good. I just have to, I think it's my volume. I'm not sure. Speak again.
Hello.
Okay, that's better. Never mind. It's not me. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are missing a person today, unfortunately. So Michelle cannot be with us today, unfortunately, because she actually had her appendix out a couple of days ago. So it was close to bursting, to be honest. It was kind of scary. So as most of you know, she's my daughter. So of course it's been kind of a crazy week, and she's actually back at the hospital. I believe or at least she was going to be heading back there because she's been having some complications with the surgery. So she unfortunately could not be with us here today. So it is just Brandon and I. So try to forgive us because we're getting back into the swing of moderating. Brandon's going to be on video or live. We're both going to be doing the best that we can here. So thank you again so much for joining us today. Brandon, how is Hawaii? How you doing?
Oh, it's still gorgeous as ever. I love it. It's a little bit rainy right now. We were going to take my niece to the pool for our last day of spring break, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if it holds out. But I will say I'm pretty excited. We have a couple of hikes and things coming up that we want to do. And I don't know if any of you have heard of Hanama Bay. Apparently it's one of the bigger.
Love Hanama Bay. Yeah.
Like apparently a really big popular thing. I didn't even know about it. And we were supposed to go last week, but it was kind of closed down. So we're still going to go, and we're going to go snorkeling. I've snorkeled once already. It is amazing. It is like a whole other world down below the surface of the water. It's like, I'm absolutely enamored with doing stuff like that. So it's been beautiful. Every day is a new experience, a new exciting thing. But one of the biggest things I was thinking about the other day, I was having this like really beautiful meditation. It was like almost out of body. And I was thinking about where I was, in the world, where I was located in the world, and how I'm literally out on an island in the middle of the Pacific, like right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, just sitting out here and nothing else around you but water. And, we have talked before, I may have mentioned it on the show, my soul needs water. Like it absolutely needs to have water in its life. And I've been landlocked a lot where I've lived. And so being here, it just does something to my soul. So I'm glad that I followed my own soul's calling, my own soul's impulses, where it was driving me to, because it's giving me a sense of, it's this feeling of completeness when you follow your soul, and it doesn't matter where it's leading you to. When you follow that soul impulse, it's not like it just magically fixes everything in your life, right? It's not like it says, oh, okay, now this worked. No. What it does is it gives you that renewed sense of spirit being the action that you invest and take into the things you want to do. It's that sense of inspiration that gives you a drive to keep pushing. And it's pushing in a way that doesn't feel like it's massive amounts of effort, because when you have that soul behind what you're doing, it's truly almost effortless. You really can do anything. So for me, I don't have kids, but I have been helping take care of my sister's 2 kids, and man, I don't know how you parents do it. I don't know how any of you do it ever with one, let alone multiple kids. My goodness. But what's interesting is just being here, I have that renewed sense of spirit, so I can constantly keep doing things and keep up with the kids and nap time and final time and do this and waking up at 5 a.m. And you know, as you all know that are parents, it's definitely a difficult journey, but when you've got that love and that soul behind it, it really makes things flow quite smoothly. And that applies for whatever you're working towards in your life, whether it is children or career or what have you.
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. It's funny because, you know, when you have that type of love and soul spirit towards something, it does rejuvenate you and it does give you that strength and that energy to move forward. It's kind of like, you know, when people talk about, I don't know how other people were raised, but I know, you know, with me, it was always, and this is of no fault in any way to my parents or even our generation, because my parents were actually really good about letting me kind of just follow my path or do what I needed to do. I mean, I've had many jobs, and you know, my parents were always like, here she goes again, you know, off onto something else. And they were really good about it. But I always did what I really loved to do. And I think that when you start following that path, when you just have that excitement for something, and again, even if it is, you know, I don't want to say just your kids or just kids. I don't mean it in that sense, because obviously, you know, the kids are, for me, you know, to quote a Police song, every breath I take, you know, literally, like, you know, every essence of me is my children. But it's when you're also following that path towards yourself, whether it's, you know, whatever hobby, and people kind of laugh at hobbies. They'll say, well, I don't have time for hobbies. How do you not have time for them? How do you not have time for following something that you love every day? Whether it's, you know, gardening, or whether it's just reading, or whether, hey, you know what, if it's watching YouTube videos, you know, it's like, do what is rejuvenating your soul. Even if it's a trip to Hawaii, which, you know, would rejuvenate me right now. Most definitely. But you know, it truly is following that path. And I know it's hard, because a lot of people, they'll say, well, I don't know what my thing is. So take that time out and actually try to, you know, so here's an interesting thing. So a lot of readings, people will say to me, what am I supposed to be doing? And I can't tell you that, because that's going to be you. I can't tell you what occupation you're supposed to be in. I can't tell you what your hobby is. I can't tell you what makes you happy. But, you know, if basically people take a broader sense. So let's say, you know, somebody really enjoys healing. Okay, just as an example. Well, you know, what are the healing occupations? Doctor, nurse, fireman, ER, you know, paramedic. Like, you take the broader ones, right? And then we can go into more spiritual ones. So like Reiki, you know, metaphysical type of science, that sort of, or metaphysical healing or something. And then you start breaking that down, and then start breaking it down and start breaking it down. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm really drawn to this. And it might not be mainstream. But that's where you're finding your niche, or maybe your hobby, or whatever it is. It's like, start at that broader and general sense, and then start working your way down into the little things. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's like somebody will say, well, I really like doing art. Well, what kind of art? Do you like drawing? Do you like clay? Do you like, you know, paper mache? Like, what is it that you like? Start breaking that down. Start putting it into subcategories now. And that's how we start finding, you know, our path or our hobbies, or what really, and you know what, you can change that 10,000 times if you really want to. That's the thing, right? That's the amazing thing about being alive and being,
just a person,
you know, following your gut, following your heart, following, you know, what you're being drawn to. You don't need to stay into some sort of, you know, niche all the time, right? You can expand this and continue to go, right?
Exactly. And that's the beautiful thing about the human spirit nowadays, is we innovate and combine so many unique things together to come up with new solutions. You know, I'm trying to think of an example of just something really simple. Oh, well, we had a weird fad of those Tide laundry pods, but I mean, think about that. You put one of those pods in the washer and they combine the detergent and the fabric softener. You don't got to do anything. You just throw that little pod in there. We're innovating and coming up with new ways of doing things and
Yeah.
combining things all the time. And art, especially being a medium where so many different things can be used in different ways. I saw somebody, and I love this artwork, where it was acrylic paint, and they did something where they combined it with like a little bit of extra plaster, and they would let it dry as big chunks on the canvas. And so one of the more obvious and beautiful ones was this wave that he did on this canvas, and you could see the wave. It was like 3D. It was coming out because the way the acrylic dried. I mean, it was just this. If you turned it sideways, you could
Right.
see all the texture of the painting. Like, it's just beautiful. So we're reinventing things all the time, but the whole point is following that soul's pull. When you have that soul influence, there's nothing else that really can come between you and that object or that action or what you're going
Mhm.
after. And the same thing is said for relationships, but here's the other side to that. It is not an inanimate object, right? It's another person who has their own thoughts and free will and their own, course of actions and desires. So it is important, I think, to follow those soul impulses as well, but
Mhm.
doing so in a way that respects your own sense of self. I've seen a lot of people who have felt this soul bond with another, but yet have given of themselves completely and they don't have
Mhm.
anything left. That's the dangerous part of following
Mhm.
soul connections with another person. Um, Really, I think what it constitutes, no one ever has said, that when we come into this lifetime, we should have some soulful connection that lasts the entire, amount of time that you're here. That's never said. What's said is that you will have soul connections, and we are to appreciate them as they are, however they come into our life and for however long. But what will stay with you is that sense of connection that can
Mhm.
remain with you without having to sacrifice the entire life that you built, because you're supposed to live this experience for your own self, right? You're supposed to have your independent sense of experience of, I am Brandon or I am Kathy. I am not, you and I are not conjoined twins who we are forced to live our life, like through each other's eyes and body interaction. Like, we're not conjoined or anything like that. The point is, we still have
Yeah.
to have our individual experience, but we can share those
Yeah.
complementary moments when we have those soul connections.
It's funny that you say that, because a lot of readings that we get, we do see people trying to change themselves to become something that they're not, or they'll worry, did I say the wrong thing? Well, did you say it from your heart, or were you just being cranky? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
there's that difference. Are you trying to evoke a reaction, or were you speaking from your heart? And there's that difference between um even communication, right? It's like, I'm going to say something, but I want to evoke a reaction from this person. Well, that's not
Mhm.
really coming from the heart.
Nah.
But if you're speaking from the heart, then we shouldn't have to worry. Did we say the wrong thing? Did we react in a way that maybe we shouldn't have reacted? Well, okay, how do you feel about it? Are you feeling genuine with yourself, or are you feeling genuine, or are you feeling like you're not getting the reaction that you had hoped was going to happen from saying those particular words? If you're
Mhm.
speaking from your heart, you're not saying the wrong thing. It's that other person's reaction that they may not agree with that, and that's perfectly within their right to not agree with what you have to say. But it's funny, because this brings me back to that conversation that we've talked about on here about empathy and sympathy. Because sometimes when we talk, we're trying to provoke a reaction when we're seeking sympathy. When we're trying to seek sympathy for something, we're trying to push a reaction onto somebody else. We're trying to create an emotion within somebody. Whereas instead of just speaking from the heart, what we're doing is, we're just speaking from our soul. And if that brings about empathy from somebody, wonderful. If we're not, then it is what it is, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I think that and so when we go into relationships, that really plays a part too. I've seen so many people that will be like, well, he's not paying attention to me, so I'm going to start posting a bunch of selfies. It's funny. So being on, I think everybody's like probably on Facebook or social media of something. And as soon as somebody's not paying attention to them, you always see the same reaction. I'm going to start posting selfies. I'm going to start talking about other men or women. I'm going to, bring about some sort of reaction. I'm going to force a reaction in somebody. And you always see this. And it's like, oh my goodness. There used to be a time where, this is kind of funny. I don't mean to sound vain or anything like that either, but you know what I mean? It's like you see these people that will be posting, oh, relationships suck. She sucks. He sucks, whatever, it's usually like with the men or whatever. And you see this, and the next thing, I could sit there and I used to be able to count down. I'd be like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and you'd all get this ding in your message how you doing? I was like, yeah,
There's a
no.
lot
I
of
just
truth
saw
to
what you
that.
posted on Facebook, dude. Like, why would anybody, like that right there is that like lack of self-confidence within yourself if you're responding to this crap. You know what I mean? It's like, I just saw you literally post that, yeah, yippee, you're single, whoopee. But you also just bashed the person that you've been with for X amount of time. You're bashing, either men or women, whatever. I mean, in my case, it would be men. And, I just saw you bashing them. I just saw like you air out every freaking filthy, dirty laundry that the two of you had. And even if not, like, take some freaking time to yourself and figure out your next move rather than messaging every single person in your inbox going, how you doing? What's up? It's like, and you
Well,
see women do it too, right? Like, I mean, it's
right.
not just men. I'm using men as an example, being a woman, but that we see women do that too. As soon as they break up, what are they doing? I'm going to post every freaking gym picture I possibly can. Oh,
Yeah.
look, suddenly I'm naked in every picture practically. Oh, all of a sudden I have a body. Oh, all of a sudden here's like 800 pictures of my face. Here's, and it just goes on. And you're like, oh my God, people, really? Like, have you thought about, why don't you just go rent The Notebook, go watch P.S. I Love You,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, get a
Eat,
big thick
pray, love,
magazine, cry your
something.
eyes out for like 2 weeks or whatever it takes, and then start dealing with all of your emotions and all of your junk and all of your crap that you need to deal with first before you start inboxing and it's like, what's up?
Right. Don't project all of these, emotional moments or issues or, whatever you're trying to get over. Don't project it onto other people that are out there. One, you're kind of showing your ass. You're showing who you are in these moments, right? Like
Yeah.
you're revealing exactly how you act in relationships. And if you're
Mhm.
looking for another relationship, well, people are going to notice that. People are going to see that, they're just they're already getting impressions of you, and it's not a good way to attract somebody genuine, I'll tell you that much.
No,
It's
absolutely
definitely
not.
not.
Absolutely not. And it's almost like I refuse to look inside of myself. So I'm going to just bring something else in so I don't have to
Yeah.
deal with my own crap. I don't have to deal with what I possibly could have created within this scenario as well. It's never one-sided. As much as we want to say there is a two-side to this, right? Now, sometimes people are just jerks, but there's red flags to those jerks. And
Yes.
it's up to us whether we see that red flag or whether we're really looking as to what it could possibly be that Did we not see it? Did we refuse to acknowledge it? Did we brush it
Mhm.
underneath a rug and just say, oh, okay, that's all right. I'm sure that they'll be back. I'm sure that they'll do this. And it's funny because we, a lot of times, a lot of our readings do involve like this twin flame dynamic, and
Mhm.
or at least a soul connection dynamic. And I've had so many people that will say, well, it's okay that he's sleeping with 800 women. It's okay that she's, I just talked to her, but she told me she's going on a date with, oh, that's okay because they're my twin and I still unconditionally love them. And the difference between that is there's a difference between unconditional love, and there's that difference between dude is being an ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Abuse, really.
Abuse. There's an abuse of emotions that does go on in there. You can unconditionally love somebody and not like what they're doing and speak up and say, look, this is not cool. This is not
Yeah.
okay behavior. And you don't get to treat me like, I'm a toy or I'm a trophy or that I'm not worthwhile, in your mind to be treated with respect. And that's what people really have to acknowledge and take a look at. And it's like, well, he did this or he said this or they haven't done this or whatever it is. And but it's okay because they're my twin or they're my soul connection or whatever it is. And it's like, no, but here's the thing is that soul connection is a part of, if it's a part of you, then why are you treating yourself like crap? Why are you allowing that connection to, if there's that twin mirroring, then why are you allowing yourself to be treated like crap is basically what is what it's saying. So would you accept this? No. So, is this something that you would do? Then no. Then you speak up. You say what it is that you want to say. And, oh, Brandon disappeared. He'll be back. But, so I hope that makes sense. So when we're talking about, relationships and stuff like that, oh, there he is. Hang on a second. Hang on. Hi.
Hello. I guess Google Chrome just decided to shut down.
you just went poof.
It just disappeared right on me.
Yeah. It's funny because we were talking about that earlier, and I was saying I might be the one because my battery is so my battery in my laptop is gone, so I have to keep it plugged in. So if I disappear, you guys will know that I will be back. It's just me having to plug in my computer again because it's literally running off of just the cord right now. So I have to find either a battery for my computer or get a new computer, whichever one. But I hope that makes sense, guys. So, I just wanted to see pollute your own personal growth. Yeah, you don't want to pollute your own personal growth. You want to expand your own personal growth. This is so important. So, if something that somebody is doing is not making you feel good, it's okay to acknowledge this. Whether you acknowledge it to the actual person and speak up, or whether you acknowledge it to yourself, that's really your choice. I mean, but it's taking that acknowledgement that is going to not only expand your personal growth, but it's also releasing a lot of energy that could possibly help somebody coming through or coming back in a different way, because that energy does transmit. I hope
Yes.
that makes sense. Yeah. Cut out toxic people out of your life. And whether they're under some sort of term, or catchword label. That's
Really, labeling is one of the most limiting practices we can do. And I have understood it to a whole other degree in this past month. I think even alone, when you label something, you really start to box it in as what it could potentially or possibly be. and that does serve as a limitation. Sometimes those boundaries are good, right? Like if you have a potted plant, it helps to keep that plant, maybe the seedling, in a little pot so it has a better chance to be able to grow. But at some point, you're gonna have to put it in a different one so that it can continue to grow. And then eventually, it can probably flourish outside, in nature without a plant. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Sometimes those boundaries are important when we are experiencing moments of growth. But once we have hit a sort of peak, when we start to see the fruits of that growth, that's when you really can allow it to grow on its own. Sometimes it needs a little bit of aid, but other than that, when you start to really restrict yourself by labeling every facet of your life and who you are, you stop a certain flow of things being able to come in. So having that sort of checks and balances with yourself, it really is advantageous. And sometimes it's a little bit too complex for people, and that's exactly what we were talking about, of just follow the soul impulse. If you're not sure, just listen to that soul. Listen to what that little, it's not always a voice. Sometimes it's a fluttering feeling in the chest. Sometimes it's, this lump in your throat that needs to come out, and, a truth needs to be spoken. Sometimes it's seeing something in your mind and making it happen physically, whether it's an image, whether it's an action. That soul impulse is going to hit you in so many different ways. So learning how to do that is literally learning how to communicate with the soul. And one of the best ways I know how, and this is the work why I've gotten involved in it, is knowing the language of your subconscious, writing down your dreams, knowing how your dreams, your subconscious, is speaking to you, the conscious observer that is experiencing reality. That's one of the best ways, I think, to know the language of the soul and how it speaks to you.
Absolutely. It's interesting too, because, as we're talking about this, it's also about the core, our core. So our core is, really our solar plexus. Okay. And when we're listening to our solar plexus, if something feels easy, if it feels like we were talking, like you were saying, flowing, if it flows, if our soul is accepting it, and this, we can even do this within ourselves. So, we can even do this as an exercise right now, really. And so what, it's like asking a question and then listening to what your gut is saying. Is it coming in and is it being really tight? Is it like this? Okay, well, then there's something that needs to either be released, or there is a falsehood in some way around that energy within the core. If it's flowing and it feels good, again, listen. It doesn't mean that tightness automatically is something that's not going to be true or anything like that. Sometimes what it is around that core is we have other barriers or borders that come through. And again, it's going quiet and really listening to what our brain is telling us, what our body is telling us, what our soul is talking about. So sometimes somebody will say, I feel like this person is, are they telling me the truth? Can I believe this person? So we might instantly feel that tightness coming into our core, and we might assume that this is, okay, they must be lying because I'm feeling this tightness. But then when we start to relax and we start allowing that energy just to kind of spread and spread and spread and just sort of allow it to be released, now we're starting to hear the truth behind what it is that we're actually being like that tightness about, right? And so you might say, okay, I think that this person isn't telling me the truth. Maybe they're telling me a lie. You feel that tightness. Okay, now why do I feel this? Is it really that I'm not, that they're being false within their words? Or is it possibly that I've been in other situations where this wasn't the truth? And so you got to take a look at that too, because our past experiences really make a play in that. And so if we start jumping on people and saying, well, my gut says, you're lying to me. My gut says, you know, sometimes we really, again, have to listen to that soul that is speaking to us. And it's stopping and taking that step back and really allowing, you know, what is supposed to come through to come through. So
I like what Love Your Mother says in the chat here. It's easier to change yourself than it is to change someone else. But I want
absolutely.
to add to that for sure, which I would argue you can't ever change anybody else ever. And I feel like I have found this time and time again. The only thing you can do is invite people to be able to change or hold space for them to be able to make that transition, because you're not going to do anything unless you genuinely want to do it in yourself first, right? So for example, being a clinical hypnotherapist, where I literally, you know, work with people to change, you know, some kind of habit or behavior or relationship in the mind with, you know, whatever it is, whatever the item or connection may be. And I can never just say, oh, you're just going to be this way. Walk out of my office, 5 minutes, done. We're done. No, there's like a whole thing we have to do. You know, there's a whole dance that we have to work with first to get the conscious mind out of the way.
Mhm.
Then we get to the subconscious mind, and that's really my job. My job is mostly to get you to the subconscious mind so that we can create a space together that allows you, it facilitates the space for you to be able to make these connections in the brain. I'm just kind of guiding you through each step. And even still, I can't force anybody to change. They have to allow themselves. They have to allow and invite that themselves. So it's absolutely true, and that's why I think I like here what Love Your Mother said, to really just focus on yourself. And these,
Absolutely.
you know, beautiful proverbs, and maybe they've turned to cliches now, which is, you know, you can't change the world, you can only change yourself, or in order to change the world, first change yourself, that kind of thing. There's a reason that those are proverbs. There's a reason why, you know, those things are repeated a lot. It's because it's true, you know. And
Yeah.
the other side of that, the magical part of this, which I love, is the fact that your perception of reality, your consciousness, it is literally creating the reality you see as we speak in the moment. And so when you can change the way you perceive reality, it's arguable that you are changing reality and that it can affect other people. So truly, if you want to change another, change yourself, you know, work on yourself and make that
Mhm.
shift for your own self.
And interesting that, like, to add to that, so, you know, when people say, when you say change yourself, again, you know, it really comes to speaking up,
Yeah.
speaking your truth. So when people say, well, how do I get them to stop that? Well, speak it. If you don't like the behavior that somebody is giving to you, you say
Hmm.
it, you know. But
Hmm.
again, go back and look at it and go, am I saying this to evoke a reaction from this person? Am I saying this to evoke some sort of emotion from this person? Or am I saying it because this is truly how I feel? And when you
Hmm.
start speaking truly what you feel, then, you know, let's just say somebody's late. Okay, somebody's late to show up or whatever. And you know, you're like, "Oh, okay, well, forget it. I'm not going out with you. I'm actually going out with, you know, Bob." Right? And what
Hmm.
you're doing right there, boom, you're evoking an emotion. You're trying to make somebody jealous. You're trying to evoke anger. You're trying to evoke, you know, something so that somebody will hurry or be there. Or, you know, it's like, if you're not going to take me out for dinner, then fine, I'm going to go out with, you know, Bill, Ted, Todd, whatever. Right? That's not speaking your truth. That's basically just trying to evoke an emotion from somebody, right?
Yeah.
If you're saying to somebody, look at, hey, I've been waiting for like half an hour for you to show up. Just don't bother coming, because I deserve better respect than that.
Hmm.
I deserve somebody who will be here on time. Done.
Well, I'm glad you
No
didn't.
need to go into the drama. I'm just going to call Fred.
Well, I'm glad you didn't replace me for being late to the show today.
Yeah. Go find some random psychic. Hey, what you how you doing? You're irreplaceable, Brandon.
Oh,
Yeah.
the feeling is mutual.
So I'm thinking, yeah, how you do it. I'm thinking we should probably, let's start on the readings. I'm really itchy. I don't know why. My back is itchy. Okay, just hang on. I don't want to look like I'm trying to, I wanted to explain that weird movement that I was going to do here because people will think I got some sort of twitch or tick going
Pulling
on.
out a tarot card right from the back.
Yeah. Magic. Look what I can do. We did. So we just want to explain how this works, guys. So first of all, to get a reading, you must be subscribed to our channel. So make sure you go click subscribe. We really appreciate if you click like. Don't click subscribe if you're planning on unsubscribing, because that is really bad karma. Right? Like, you know, this is a free reading. Come on. We do take donations first. Okay. So people that have donated, we do take those readings. We put them at the top of the list. And Brandon, do you want to explain the lottery? Because I never explain it properly. So.
All right. So since we do not have our other moderator here today, I've tried to grab a couple of your questions that you've put in the chat. Normally that's going to be okay since we do have that extra person, but today we do not. So I think we're going to have to open it up again where we kind of officially open the room and let all of you put in your questions. So that way I'm not hunting down and looking for the question. And honestly, when the live chat gets too far, it actually starts deleting some of the earlier comments. So it'll be better if we all just kind of do it at once. So that way we can all get our questions in at one time. We will need your first name, your date of birth, or your sun zodiac sign, and your question. So put all three of those things in the chat. That way, one, we know what to call you. Two, we have a direct source to tap right into your energy. And three, we know where we're looking. You know, the point is to be able to get you the information you're looking for. So having us, you know, helping us by giving us pieces of information that allow a direct channel into you, it really helps the process go smoothly so we can get to as many people as we can. What we will be doing is a lottery. So when you do submit your question, you'll be placed on a list. And I will be using a random number generator to generate whatever number comes up. I assign, you know, each of your questions with a number. I'll put that in the chat. And then if your number gets called, you are good to go. We do accept donations if you do want priority, if you for sure want your question answered today on air on the show. You can donate. The link to do so is here in the description box. It does go through PayPal. Kathy does have other options.
Banner too. Yeah. So I'm going to put, so it's down below. So reading donations can be made through PayPal, or if you're in Canada, you can send an e-transfer. The email is in there as well. Just let us know that you have made a donation so that we just verify it ahead of time, and then the question, we will put your questions straight on immediately. So we did already have a donation from Naomi. I hope I'm saying your name right. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if I'm not. So one of the things, so here's, let me get my words, like my tongue working here. Hang on a second. Let me put all my words into one place. So some of the things that we do not read on is we do not read on health. We do not read on legal issues, and we prefer not to look into third-party situations. Okay, we can look into the energy of what is you and another person. However, we will not spy on another relationship. Okay, that's none of our business. It's none of your business, you know, bottom line. We will not tell you your soulmate. what they look like, when you're going to meet them, how you're going to meet them. I personally just feel that takes away from, we may look into the general, timeline of when this person will show up into your life. However, there is always free will, but we will not tell you like what they look like, what their name is, all of that stuff, because I do feel it's very limiting, and it really takes away from the expansion of somebody just coming forward. Okay. Because again, we're putting too many details or labels or all of that stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We don't do lottery numbers. Trust me, if we could do lottery numbers, I think that would be, I'd be okay with that. But yeah, that's not going to happen. So, all right. All right. So we did
just again,
what's that?
Just to remind everybody, if you are wanting a reading, please type your first name, date of birth or zodiac sign, and your question. Those 3 pieces of information will allow me to put you on that list. So please compile all that together in one message.
Okay, so all right. Sorry, I was just reading the comments.
You did say we had 1 donation, you said?
We did, yeah, from
Okay.
Naomi, and her question was, will her stepdaughter cause issues within her relationship again? So I guess apparently she did cause issues in the past, and she just wants to see if this is going to cause issues coming in the future. So what I'm getting here is that there needs to be, I feel like you need to have a conversation. It was interesting because as soon as I had seen your question posted earlier, I really started getting a lot of information there, and it feels like there needs to be a definite conversation with the other parent, with her father. And it feels as though there needs to be definite boundaries set in here. I'm also getting, I feel at first, things are going to be fine. Okay. Like I feel at first things are going to be fine. This could last for weeks. It could last for, a few months. What I'm also hearing too is that it feels as though the closer you and her father become, there has to be this energy. I feel like there's this energy where she does need some sort, I don't know her age or anything like that, but it does feel like there needs to be a sense of attention put towards her. It almost feels as though I keep getting the energy of you and her father being, you guys can kind of go into your own world. I feel like there is a definite strong bond here. I feel like there's, this energy where you guys can sort of get a little lost in yourselves, which is not a bad thing. But I do feel like there's a little bit of acting out from this, because it does feel like I keep getting that she could possibly be a teenager, or, somewhere in there. Like it's got an energy of a teenager. I don't know if she is or not, but what I am getting is it does feel like there needs to be a strengthening of this bond between you and her. So again, including things, really trying to have the conversation. Okay, she's 19 and will be 20 this year. So that makes a lot of sense. So what I'm getting here is like, it just feels like the communication needs to be open. I don't feel, it's interesting because even though, as you're saying, she's 19, what I'm getting is like the energy of a 16-year-old. And it might be because of like an emotional immaturity that's coming through in here. So what I feel is like there needs to be some sort of inclusion, and it does feel like there needs to be strong boundaries, set up. I feel like for the first little while, everything is going to be okay, but there's going to be little things that she's going to either try to get away with, or, try to interfering within the relationship in some way. So having those boundaries set ahead of time is going to make a huge difference. This is what I'm getting. I feel ultimately that by keeping the communication open and really, really talking to her about her own stuff as well is going to make that difference. This is what I'm getting. I don't know if Brandon wants to. Oh, she's okay, manipulating and has played victim many times, which is why her dad told her to move out last year. Okay.
So I'm trying to compile all of these questions here, and others are
Yeah.
kind of writing some paragraphs. So bear with me. I wasn't fully
No, that's okay.
listening to where you were, but I am tapped in here and picking up something, and you can show us where there was crossover or what is similar or different between what we're connecting with. What I'm feeling here, Naomi, in this specific situation with the daughter, Spirit keeps showing me that there seems to be an important key in the relationship here with the daughter that directly does influence the relationship you have with her father. And they're showing me that there is this sort of missing link or this kind of void in the relationship between the father and the daughter. And they're giving me this vision of you being a connector, like a bridge. You have the opportunity to be able to create a bond between them, or to literally make space for them to create that sense of bond, whatever is kind of missing. And again, be that bridge, because it seems like her attitude always has this distance in relationship with her father. And so if you serve to help facilitate that bond, it not only does something good for them, but it does reflect on your relationship with the father very, very well.
Yeah.
What they are showing me is that it's important to respect the distance that she has created, and understanding that she needed the space for whatever reason. It had to be for her to feel confident or comfortable, with her own life, but that she can still be distant and connected. So this is going to be a big part that you're going to be able to help teach her. And especially with you being Pisces, I think that better than most, is that you can absolutely be at a distance with somebody and still feel their connection and feel what they're going, what's going on, or feel the nature of your relationship. And I feel like there is this almost divine intervention of you being around for this moment, because you do understand this nature already about relationships and interpersonal connections. And I feel that that's going to be something that you help to impart with her, not like you scolding, teaching, lecturing, nothing of that nature, just helping an adult understand a new nature of connection, and how you can still be distant and go and do your own thing, but also have that bond at heart.
I'm really hearing here too is that there is this part of her that really feels that her dad is trying to build connections with others rather than her. So it almost feels as though, this isn't particularly against you in any way. Like, it's not like she doesn't like you, although there might be a part of her that, is resentful of you to some degree. But what I'm really getting here is that her dad has spent more time trying to build relationships externally rather than spend that time with her. And this is why I keep feeling that communication, exactly like Brandon had said, really putting that energy towards building that bridge between the two of them, listening to, why don't you want us to be in a relationship? I just feel like there is this part of her. I don't feel like she's intentionally, okay, when I say she's not being intentionally manipulative, I feel like this is attention. This is all that is. It's really, truly just attention. This is very much like we were talking about just, at the beginning of the show, is about evoking emotion. So she's being manipulative simply because of the fact that it evokes an emotion, from people around her. It's not so much about breaking the two of you up or, her not wanting you guys together or not wanting her dad with anybody. It is about evoking an emotion out of people so that she has some sort of attention placed upon her. And I do feel like whether her dad has sort of been in her life, I feel like he's truly been more, maybe perhaps vocal with other people, or he's done more for other people. And again, not intentionally. I don't feel like he's been intentionally, ignoring her or whatever. This might even be something that has stemmed from her own childhood. Okay. So, a lot of times we do carry baggage, just even from when we were little, that which is making her look at other relationships as, it could be him spending more time talking to the kindergarten teacher than, answering her question. I mean, it could be something so small, but the fact is that now she's looking at all relationships kind of like that, like anything to do with her dad. It's like, oh, well, he's more interested in talking to this person than he is spending this time with me. And this is what I'm really getting from her. So again, it has nothing to do particularly with you, but I do feel like Brandon said is bringing that communication forward is going to make that difference. It is going to help. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It is going to take time. It might even be the fact of, you and her going out for coffee or taking her for a walk or, trying to do something with her as an individual and allowing her to be a part of this family unit that the two of you are essentially building. So I hope that helps. Yeah, he's been there more for his nephew than her, which is exactly why she's behaving in this way. Like other people are more important than she is what is the emotion that she's feeling and seeing and sensing. So when he's putting emotion towards somebody else or attention towards something else, again, it's somebody that's taking it away from her. And I feel like I actually feel really sorry for her because it really does feel like she has been left out a lot as she was growing up. So that's, maybe try to have a little bit of, try to look at it off of that side. And again, try to spend some time with her, perhaps as an individual. That might help about, bring this bond together as well. So, I hope that that's helped. And I feel like starting will help prevent those problems coming up. Like starting now will help prevent those problems. Okay. However you can do it, you might even have to talk to her dad and say, look at dude, get your ass in here and go be a dad, go be a dad. Right. So that might be something that you need to do as well. So I hope that that's helped. So I think the next one is Jessica.
Yes, did I see that?
Yeah.
Correctly? Did she send that donation?
She did, yeah.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica. Did she put her
go ahead and put your question in now.
Lola, I think we did get your question. I do believe that it was up there. I did want to address something though with you, Lola. We can't determine your your occupation. That is something that you have to try to find within yourself. But we can take a look at, if you have kind of a more specific question, we can take a look into that for sure.
I know you're going to have problems with Kay's question, Kathy.
Okay.
I already have an instant. instinct about it. Kay is asking, when will I meet my wife? I was told by other readers I'll meet her soon this year, wondering what month. So if you want to guide Kay into
Okay, yeah.
rephrasing that.
So, Kay, that is something that we, I don't think you have them in the list. Oh, yes, you do. Number 9. Never mind. So, Kay, yeah, we don't. I can tell you a general energy of somebody that may come in, but we don't really look into,
You're
there's a lot
essentially
of,
asking us to create
yeah,
what's happening.
right.
We can look into the energy of it. We can look at, if spirit shows us anything. Sometimes it's very, very, very rare, but sometimes spirit does just come right outright and says, oh, this month is extremely important, or even specific. Kathy has done it before. She's had specific days just come out. And then, it hit some prediction and we probably, totally forgot about it. We're like, whoa, what in how did this happen on this day? Oh yeah, that's fine. Oh my gosh. So we'll connect. I think we'll see what we feel, but essentially this type of question, when will I meet my wife? You're essentially creating, like we were talking about in the beginning of the show, a limitation. Because if Kathy and I just, said February. Well, February is already gone, right? So that means that now you're going to live your life thinking of the fact that, oh, well, I've already missed my chance, so I might
Right.
as well just give up. I guess I'm not going to have a wife. So that's what that kind of question does. So what we'll do, okay, good. So see what you get. Perfect. So we'll just kind of tap into the energy here of your love life, and we'll look into what spirit shows us as far as the relationship coming up in your life and what's coming up next. And we'll just give you whatever we pick up on, if that's okay.
Also, did Kay put their name and birth date in? I didn't.
They're going by K, so that's okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Jessica's question is, Jessica Pisces is asking about Tim, a Taurus. Things have been getting sort of better. Just wanted to get a sense of how he feels about me now. Current energy, timeline expected, and thank you both. Okay. So, okay. So this is what I'm getting. Okay. So with Tim, what I'm really feeling here is this is, and I've told you this before too, because, Jessica and I are friends. We do talk. This is really new to him. His feelings are really new to him. It feels like he's starting to see a longer term, future with somebody. He's starting to, set a foundation. He's starting to see what it is that he wants within his life that is going to be a foundation going into the future. So as he's going through this, though, there are going to be those moments of reverting back to who he is. And we're talking, going on Instagram or, maybe even talking to people, but I'm not getting there's romantic relationships or anything like that. But I do feel like for him to transform immediately is going to almost be impossible for this guy because he's not very spiritually inclined. Like he doesn't have that, oh, I see a path, I'm going to follow it. He's sort of laying a brick by brick by brick by brick. Okay. So, if you think of like the yellow brick road, he's literally laying each brick as he's going. But what he is doing is he is building that road, that foundation, that sturdiness. And so now he's starting to recognize his feelings. It's like, I'm really enjoying talking to this person. I'm really enjoying this time. I'm really like, I'm starting to recognize that I'm looking for them online. I'm starting to wanting to have more conversations with them. I'm starting to really enjoy all of this. So this has just started, like it's like a stirring, it's like a building in him. And we've talked about sparks before, like where he's getting those sparks. And I feel like what he's doing is he's like he could be sitting there having a quiet moment, and all of a sudden he's like, Jessica, oh, okay. Your name is popping up into his head. He's starting to feel these emotions. He's starting to, really want to have actual conversations with you rather than, just a couple of words, or, make it like, sexual in some way, or all of those. So he's really starting to lay down that foundation. I want to say, like, he's starting to pour that concrete. Okay. If you're building a house, he's starting to pour that concrete. It is going to still be some time because he does have a whole lot of other things that are going on in his head that he's got to sort out. So he's been living in this place where essentially it's been, very, he's had to bring in all kinds of new emotions. He's got some issues going on with his dad. He's got some, other things that are going on with him. And he's trying to figure out all of these emotions because he's never really had to do that before. And now all of a sudden it's like, coming from being a little kid, essentially spiritually, into becoming a man. And this is where he's moving forward from. So I still want to say stay away from watching anything on his social media, because that's not going to help your energy at all, because he's not going to change who he is immediately. He's not going to change that. It doesn't mean that he's a bad person, but he is very habit. So he's got a habit. He will go on. He will like people on Instagram. He may have conversation, but you're going to see that starting to dissipate. Okay. But it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be an immediate thing, but it is going to start to dissipate, and you will start seeing him really come forward. You're going to start seeing him really open up more emotionally as he's moving ahead. Brandon, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, there are some words that you used that really stood out to me based on what I was picking up as well. You kept saying foundation, house, and concrete, and those are really sticking out to me right now as far as what's to come in the future. But when I'm looking at the energy between Jessica and Tim here, I do feel this sense of it's like a culmination of everything that has been happening in the past really starting to come to a head. Spirit does show me movement. So I agree here with you, Kathy, and I can definitely confirm with you, Jessica, that movement does seem to be happening, and it does seem to be a sense of progress, but it is not without its frustration still. And like Kathy was saying, there is a reverting back to old patterns or behaviors that is likely to come up because he's being met with the frustration, because he is more of a in his own pattern, in his own, pace kind of person. And so it's hard to get out of that rigidity sometimes. So the beautiful thing that I like about where Tim is that it does seem to be he is getting stronger in himself. So I feel he is going to start fighting those older patterns within himself, because Spirit shows me he is conscious. He does want to make changes for his own sense of self. But what's beautiful is that it does in some way seem to be in light of you. It's because of the reflection of himself that he sees with you that it gives him that sense of inspiration. And that's exactly what Kathy and I were talking about in the beginning of the show, about sometimes you just have to hold that space for somebody so that they, can make their own rationalizations or understandings or realizations. So I think you've honestly done a great job, Jessica, and I think it kind of confirms exactly what Kathy and I have been shown, at least over the past few months, about you really holding that space and connecting on that more emotional, mental, spiritual place that you do connect on. And it seems you've been doing that because it seems, again, everything is coming to a head is what I keep being shown. It's like all these different elements in this moment, and that realization and that memory and this feeling are all finally coming to a point I do feel for the both of you, but especially for Tim, because when I ask Spirit what's to come in the future, they do keep showing me that there's quite a solid feeling of growth, and they're showing me that it affects the entire foundation. And like Kathy was saying, it's like the house walls are there, and now the concrete has been poured on. And so now what's coming up is the drywall in the future, right? But and then you get to do the decorating and the insulating and all that stuff. But what's happening right now is that concrete is like being poured, and that's what they're showing me is coming up here in the next at least a month. But you might see that in a few months time span. So it really does feel positive, and I can confirm that there has been some movement in a good positive direction. Again, doesn't make it any easier. I am still showing a bit of friction, but that's okay. That's how growth happens, right?
Absolutely. And the staying away from his social media is going to be the key behind this. And I can't, it's so, I cannot make it any bigger than that. Like if I could make a banner right across, like it would be stay away from social media. And the reason for that is because, again, it's habit. It's habit. It's no more of than somebody who scratches their head or, goes to the bathroom or takes a drink of water. It is nothing more than that. It is a habit. So the more that you're watching, you're interfering in a habit. He has to break that habit himself. You cannot break it. There's nothing that you're going to do that is going to change the habit of that. It's like getting in a car and just driving to the store. You know where you're going. You know what you're doing. When he's in a place of whatever it is, relaxation, or he's just bored, or he might be sitting with his friends, whatever it is, clicks on social media. And he scrolls and he clicks 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 and he clicks. It has nothing to do with you. He's not even thinking about you. He's not thinking about anybody. He's not thinking about these people. He's not thinking about you. He's literally zombied. Click, 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 click. That's it. There's nothing behind it. There's nobody that he's looking at and going, oh, I can't wait to be with them. He could care less. Like it's literally click, 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 scroll, click, click, click. Like that's literally it. And so when you're watching this, you're focusing in on a habit, but he will start to break that habit on his own, but you cannot force that habit. There's nothing that you can do that can change it. It's not going to make a difference whether he likes somebody, whether he adds people, whether he's whatever it is that he's doing. There's nothing there. And you can't change that. And so by watching it every second and by trying to change it or by getting upset by a habit that he's doing, you're really wrecking the energy between the two of you. So you want to just sort of let it be, and you will find that this is going to start dissipating. It's going to start changing and create, he's not going to be as interested in that. It's not even an interest to him. It's literally just a freaking habit. That's it. That's all it is. And there's nothing there. So I hope that that's helped.
I'm a Taurus, and we do have habits, and they do stick quite strong, let me tell you. So getting out of them really can be difficult. Again, thank God I have that moon in Leo, the love for flair and dramatics and, doing things that can require change. But it really can be a little bit rigid being Taurus, because you just feel honestly so stuck on one path constantly. It feels like you're kind of always one constant being. And I think I've learned to love that as I got older. And really love a sense of constancy because of what people could count on in me. And, valuing people and valuing connections and relationships, that was a good thing. I loved when people could depend on me. But at some point, it was coming at the cost of my own self. And I had to figure that out. Like, okay, what is taking away from me and what I feel and what I want? versus just constantly making myself available to other people. That was a very, it was a draining thing to find the balance is really what I was doing. And I feel that that's similar here to where Tim is finding that sense of balance. Like, okay, how do I open up to these other things? But how do I also keep, my own sense of self? And it's you finding balance it's like a trial and error, a checks and balances. You push a little bit put a little weight this way, oh, tipped over, oh, gotta push a little bit back, oh, go back and forth. It's a there's a word for it and I can't fully think of it right now, but balance is one of the best.
I really, it's interesting too, because I'm literally hearing that as he's scrolling and doing whatever garbage this is, the clicking like and all of that stuff, it gives him time to think. It's like
Yes.
it's like his way of thinking. So if you look at that, if sort of, I don't know how to explain it because it's not good. I don't know. I guess if you're watching TV, you're actually absorbed in it. But what I want to say, it's almost like it's like a blank slate to him. So, I mean, it's by habit, but it does feel comfortable to him, but it allows him to have a sense of thinking. And it's sort of his way of trying to figure out his emotions and stuff. It's not like he's looking at people and trying to figure them out. It's that habit forming that allows him to go into an area of his own self and think. It's like his downtime. That's exactly it, Jessica. It's like his downtime. And so and that's why I say don't pay attention, or don't look at it, or don't put any energy towards it, because it's really allowing him to kind of sit there and go, okay, this is how I feel, and this is what I'm thinking, and this is whatever it is. And you will find that the less that you look at it, the more he's actually coming forward to you. And again, I really feel like those foundations being built, like that foundation, like this is building something for the future between the two of you, is what I keep getting. So, yeah. Hope that's helped. And much love to you.
Yes, big hugs. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you all for the donations here. So we've got about 30 minutes left. So we'll try to take as many people as we can. If you are afraid that you're not going to get called and you do have a pressing question that you want answered, again, you can donate at any time, even towards the end of the show. But we do have about 30 minutes left, so let's see how many we can do. You ready, Kathy?
You bet.
All right. So first up is going to be lucky number 8. Who is our number 8? That is Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Great. What would Pumpkin like to know?
Pumpkin is asking, Pumpkin is a Pisces and is asking who or what is coming towards me in love. So I love how Pumpkin worded this, because it allows for an interpretation of different things, not just a person, but perhaps an action, an event, a sense of inspiration, whatever it is, and is just speaking in love in general. And I do love the way that that is phrased, because it really it's a specific general question. Does that make sense? Like, it allows a sense of, okay, we're tapping into love. That's the ultimate focus. That's the ultimate point of focus. And what comes through love is what Pumpkin wants to know. So I just wanted to highlight that because I appreciate the way that that was asked. Thank you, Pumpkin.
Oh, I'm being shown like a lot here, which is, I'm not a lot, but I'm like quite an amount. Right. Pumpkin, can you just put your first name? Did Pumpkin put their first name? I don't know.
Not that I've seen.
Okay. Pumpkin, can you just put your first name into the chat for me? I'm literally being shown September for some reason. Something about September is very significant. Jahadi. Okay. It feels like something about September is very, very significant. And I'm also weirdly being shown. I want to, so I'm actually, a lot of times I'll get visions. You guys have seen that. And I'm actually seeing a knight, like from the tarot card. I want to say like the Knight of Swords, okay, coming through in about September. Now, here's the energy of the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is like a fast moving energy. And so, but it can also be like it represents basically charging ahead. Okay. But I'm getting a couple of things around that. So what I'm being told here is I do feel somebody coming in. They might come in really quickly. Okay. They might be like just all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's this person in my life. I don't know if this is somebody you know or if it's somebody that you don't know. I'm almost getting an energy here that this could be somebody that you already know. If you don't know them in person, it might be that you recognize their energy in some way. Like it might be somebody that you just feel that instant connection with or something along that line. But so there is a warning in there in regards to this, is like, don't get too caught up immediately is what I'm hearing. Not because they're not a good person or anything like that, but I am getting that this could move very quickly, and it could move a little bit quicker than you expected. And it's not that moving quickly isn't a bad thing or a good thing. It doesn't allow somebody to look at the full picture of something. So, it's sort of like one of those people that kind of comes through and they'll be like, hey, I really like you. Let's spend every moment of our lives together. But then you're not really getting to know them, because you're kind of getting to know them on a more, I'm just used to hanging out with you every day kind of level, rather than actually getting to know them as a person. And I feel like, what they're trying to say here is to take it slower. And again, this really could be somebody that you already know that just sort of comes through, because it does feel like a very familiar energy. Okay, it feels like a very familiar energy. So again, it might be either that you feel very familiar with them, or that there's somebody, that you maybe somebody that you were hoping to come through, or somebody from your past, or somebody, maybe moving forward if you're already seeing somebody. But this is what I'm getting. Now, when I say September, that doesn't mean that, that's the be all and end all. It could be before, it could be a little bit after, but I'm hearing that there's a significance in regards to September. This sounds like a little bit like the Cancer I met a little while ago. That, you know what? That is a very Cancerian energy, is what, even though the Knight of Swords does represent more of the air signs like the Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini, that Cancer energy, they can move very fast. They can really come in and be like all encompassing. So I'm not saying it is, but it is something to be aware of, because it feels like it's like this person comes through and it's like, whew, I'm just going to surround you. And, but at the same time, you might not really get that opportunity to really sit there and go, okay, I kind of want a night to myself, Hey, I want to watch Grey's Anatomy, or I want to watch, like something by myself. I want a night to myself. And that's what I keep getting. So it feels like you may have to put up some boundaries with this person. I don't feel it them being a bad person. I don't mean that in any way. I just feel like they're really going to come in and you're going to be like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Who am I? Who am I? And I need to figure this out. And that could cause a pause in this relationship. So it feels like kind of take control of the boundaries ahead of time is what I'm getting. Take control of your boundaries ahead of time. And that way you won't have to be dealing, with the issues later on. It's, you know, if they're trying to spend like every minute of every day with you, just go, no. I can go to the bathroom all by myself. Thank you very much. Like, you just, you sit over there, you go home, you know, like put up those boundaries ahead of time is what I feel. Okay. In order to help make this a stronger connection. So that's really coming through. Speaking of, as you're talking, Brandon, I'll be right back. I'll just be a second. Okay.
I do love what Kathy is saying here. And there is a specific reason why, because when I connect here with what's coming in, Pumpkin, Judy, I'm being shown that there is quite an abundance of energy. Spirit keeps showing me that there is this sort of anchoring in of this emotional clarity that really starts to hit you. And it is through this sense of clarity that's happening in your own self that your energy really starts to open up. And Spirit shows me you just receiving abundance. So I feel like this is a confirmation of what Kathy was picking up on, as far as her just saying, I see a lot. Like, oh my gosh, there's a lot. There's like a lot of stuff happening. And they just show me this sense of abundance. It's like literally these waves of abundant feelings, actions, just that feeling. You know, when you're sitting there, maybe you have like a really good meal and there's just a lot of food sitting on the table. And you just feel like, wow, you know, maybe you're with family, maybe it's a holiday or something. And that feeling of like, wow, oh my gosh, there's plenty of food and I have all my family and it's just a beautiful time. And, you know, it's that feeling of like, wow, I am blessed. Everything is abundant. It is that similar feeling where it just feels like everything is in support of where you are, what's coming in your life, and what feels good. So there will be that overwhelming sense of abundance within yourself. But why Kathy's advice is so important, and I think especially for you, Judy, is the fact that you and your energy can so easily blend with other people. And it's as if you could give all of that abundance to somebody else just because you care about them, just because you have that sense of, you know, you care about other people. You can't help it. You want other people to feel as good as you feel. And so I feel like it's important to create those boundaries so you know who is, I guess, deserving, you know, of the abundance that you can give back to others without depleting your own tank, your own resource here. And that's really the biggest point, because when I'm connecting and asking Spirit, you know, what is coming through as far as physically representing this abundance, I too am shown that there is some kind of connection that does seem like it's from the past. They're showing me that things were at a friendship level, but those friendship moments are supposed to grow at this time. But they are showing me that there could be, or it seems like there may have been some kind of social friction, either between the two, or maybe you were out or interacting in some way together, and the social buzz really didn't contribute well to the interaction. And they're showing me that this situation may come up again. And so that's why it's important to make sure that your abundance isn't fully given, because you might lose out on a lot just to try to preserve that moment from happening again like it did in the past. So that's why, again, I'll reiterate it again, that's why Kathy's saying it's important to have those boundaries, so that way things do not overflow or are taken away or taken from your own reserve. Because whomever is supposed to share in your abundance, make very sure, you know, that they are worth it, that they are of value to themselves, but also to you.
I'm also hearing that there may be a sense of insecurity within this person, which, you know, contributes to them wanting to, again, encompass you. Okay. Because I keep feeling like, almost like you feeling encompassed, like, which again, you know, can feel really good at times, but we also have to be individuals. We also have to be able to, you know, do what we need to do for ourselves as well. And so there may be a bit of insecurity within this person, and that's why those boundaries, and everything that Brandon says really resonates. It's like, it just feels like this is something like, you know, if you want a night to yourself and they pout, too bad, so sad. You can do it, you know, like you can spend time with them the next day or the day after that. But putting those boundaries in are going to be very important. very important with this person is what I get. I feel though that once the boundaries are created and you guys both abide by them and you both, stick to your individuality, you're going to have, this is going to turn into like something quite beautiful is what I feel. It's just going to have to, stay individuals as well. It's like that expression, we're great together or we're great individually, but really good together. Okay. But you have to have that individual, persona first. So yeah, I hope that's helped. All right.
All right. Thank you, Pumpkin.
Thank you.
Gotta switch headphones because the one is about to die. Okay. So next up will be lucky number. Oh, wait, do we have? Yeah, we got 11 people. Okay. I'm going to post the list again, and then I will
And you're so
generate
welcome.
our new
I
number.
hope that's helped. Yeah. You're so welcome.
Just posting the list. See, this is why we love having our Michelle here.
We miss
She
Michelle.
is deeply missed.
Doing okay. I'm like, my head is kind of over there,
Yeah. I get you. We're all sending her some good energy here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've got our list. Next up is going to be number 11. Number 11.
Will. Hello, Will.
Will. What's up, mates? Maybe you're on a break from work, so hopefully you're hearing this.
Yay.
Will is asking just in general, what's going on, Mr. Taurus here?
Okay. Okay, give me a sec. I feel a lot of confusion. I don't feel like this is a bad confusion though. It's like I'm literally being shown an image of you. It's like you have cards in your hand. Okay. I want to say flashcards, you know what I mean? And so this is the vision I'm being shown. It's almost like you're laying out these flashcards going, should I choose this? Do I choose this? Do I choose this? Do I choose this? And you're sort of looking at them going, which is my best option or which is my best path? And it does feel like there's some confusion. I almost feel like you're ready to just pick something because of this sense of confusion, as opposed to putting energy into what really feels good. It's almost like, to some degree, there's an essence here of kind of just choosing the quick path as opposed to the path that really feels right and good for you. The advice that's coming in is, it almost feels like you need to take each of these options. Like, it's literally like, again, when I talk about flashcards or cards and you pulling them up, I mean, these are just a visual of what I receive, but it feels like take the energy of each option and just sit with it for a little bit. I keep getting shown number 3, and I don't know why. I don't know what 3 has to do with anything. Maybe this is a third option or something. Maybe 3 is significant, within something, but I keep getting shown, it's almost like you're looking at the cards. Like, I keep seeing like 5 cards and it's like 1, 2, 3. And you're literally like, you keep getting drawn to this. So what I'm getting told is what you're being drawn to the most. It may be a harder path, or it may be the path of more, maybe some challenges in there, or there may be more work to some degree. But I keep getting told that it's the one that you keep getting drawn to, and somehow it's like you might try to look at another option, but you just keep going back to this one particular thought or feeling or emotion, whatever it is. And I feel like that spirit basically saying to you, you already know the choice, or you already know the path ahead. It may not be the easiest one, but it is going to be the one that's going to be the most fulfilling. That's what I hear.
This is interesting. When I'm connected here with Will, I feel like this happened before, where I was shown Will connecting into like this astral quantum realm. And this is exactly what Spirit keeps showing me again, that he needs to tap into. They're saying that he's at this moment of creation, and that he does have the energy, he does have the power to be able to do this, but he needs to go up into the realm and access it. And so it's like this astral limbo special space that I can feel Will's consciousness has gone into regularly, and maybe in his youth unconsciously. But it is something that you are able to do, Will. And they are showing me that this is the time to be able to access this now. It almost feels like to the point where it's been gnawing away at you. And so you either may have felt this through some kind of tapping on the shoulder, some proverbial tapping on the shoulder, right? Spirit tapping you, saying, hey, look over here, come on, you need to do this, you need to meditate, you need to get into that space, get into that astral realm. If you have not been getting signs, you probably are unconsciously, or within the dream, within your own dreams, all indicating you to get there. And there's a specific reason. It's because you do have an ability to be able to create from that space. And so your points of contention has been, okay, what do I choose to create? What am I supposed to choose to create? And that's why getting up into that realm is important, because it's going to show you what you are able to do, or what you should be doing. Because it gets you, just like we were talking about in the beginning of the show, gets you in touch and in tune with that soul language, that communication with the soul, and what your soul wants to be able to express and experience. So when in doubt, don't look for the right way to do it. Look for the soul way to do it.
That's exactly what I think. Yeah. And again, it's like, it might not be the easiest path, but it is going to be the one that is going to be most satisfying. It's going to be the one that is going to be more spiritually uplifting. It's going to be the one that it's like your soul is craving it, and you keep going back to it. You keep going back to it. And like Brandon said, you have to go up. You have to go into that astral realm. You have to take a look into, I don't know, but it just feels like you're drawn to it, and it's where you need to go. You need to head towards that, is what I keep getting.
It's where a lot of things in his life happen, which is really cool. And again, he's also a Taurus, and I find that really beautiful, of having that sort of otherworldly connection with such an earthly zodiac sun sign. It can really make people quite rigid, and Tauruses get a really bad rep for being incredibly boring, and very tenacious and stable. Again, generalization is not always the case, but that does happen quite a bit. So to have that access like that, it's a great thing, and I would absolutely advise to use it to your benefit.
Absolutely. Even a guided meditation would probably really help, Will, or just I feel like even a binaural beat, might help really raise up your that access for you. So I just feel like once you tap into it, you're gonna just fly. But you have to allow yourself to tap into it, and you have to allow yourself to move with it. So yeah. I hope that's helped. So we did get a donation from Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Emily. So we will do that. I don't know what Emily's question is, though.
I do have it here. Emily, August 10th, Miss Leo, is asking, I have been going through major transformation and growth recently. What does Spirit want to tell me about this?
Okay. So the vision I'm getting shown. All right. So, okay, I have to, all right. So what I'm getting here is like, there's you. Okay. And I literally am feeling like a cliff. So this is you. This is like the edge of a cliff. And it almost feels as though there was a second part to this cliff and you were sort of like right on the edge of it. And all of a sudden this just like that, like part of it just literally dropped away and you're sort of on this edge. And what I'm hearing is something about like safety, but I don't mean safety like maybe in a personal way, but I mean it's like hanging on to old things for a sense of safety. It feels as though there's an element that you were going through, like you would go back into old perhaps habits, old energy, old, old ways of doing things because it felt safe and it felt like security of some sort. So what I'm getting here is these transformations are, so as I'm looking on, let's say this is that other side of that cliff, what I'm getting here is this wide open space with sort of different paths. So what I'm being told by Spirit is that this is beautiful, but to put it into words, it's almost like it's time now for you to create this realm. And this is why these transformations are happening. This is why you're going through what it is that you've been going through. I really feel like it's like as if you were to take a paintbrush and literally create what it is that you want to create now. And it feels as though there is something that you've been wanting to bring into a reality of some sort, but these transformations, because it's almost like painting half a picture and then it's almost like, okay, it's like this. It's like painting a half a picture with an actual paintbrush, like a beautiful painting, but stopping halfway and then running back and grabbing some crayons because it's easier just to color within the lines. That's what I keep feeling. And that's what Spirit is asking you to let go of. You don't need to color and stay within the lines with the crayons. It's time to actually create and create your picture of how it is that you want it, because it really feels like something is it's like you the words are just coming so fast and my mouth can't keep up. I'm so sorry. It's like you have this creation, you have this image in your head, you have this vision in your head, and it feels like it's time now. It's time to literally take these paints, take the pastels, take watercolors, the acrylics, everything, and just create this amazing and beautiful masterpiece that's your life. You don't need to run back to the crayons. Okay, put the crayons down, break the crayons, you don't need those anymore. And that's what I keep getting told. It's like it's time to expand this. And these transformations were absolutely necessary to make that masterpiece that's going to be just for you. So yeah, I hope, and I'm so glad that this resonates with you, because she's saying this is so spot on with how I've been feeling. I'm ready to take control of my life. Yeah. And that's what Spirit's asking you to do. You don't need to go backwards. You don't need the security and the safety of whatever it was that is behind you. It's time to just continue to move forward. And I'm actually being shown that there are at least 2 guides that are walking forward with you. So you've got them on each side of you. This could be a whole spirit team, but they are absolutely and it is funny. So You ever see those TV shows where people come and they grab somebody underneath the armpits and kind of move them forward? Like, you'll have a person on each side and they kind of grab underneath the armpits and just kind of like, okay, we're just taking you here. I'm literally being shown by your guides that this is what they're doing. So every time you go head backwards, they're picking you up under those armpits and they're like, no, we're just going to shove you this way. And yeah, so angel numbers, yeah, like this is exactly like, this is why they're showing me this, because they're like, okay, no, enough of that, enough of the crayons. No, we're just going to pick you up under the armpits and take you forward. So it's time. Like there's a whole new creation coming for you, and it's all you. It's all your masterpiece of what you want it to be. So yeah, I hope that's
I'll just have to honestly just resonate and confirm with you. I'm feeling extremely similar things. The one thing I'm shown that may differ here or may offer a little more insight is the fact that all of these transitions that you are making, there are some very clear ones that you're doing physically as far as different practices or reactions, habits, habitual reactions to things. And what's happening is Spirit is showing me that what you're really doing is you're allowing for clarity of emotion and emotional space. You're really allowing these clouds, this sense of unknown, to really disappear, because it's all starting to lay out clearer in your mind, what is exactly happening and what exactly you're feeling. You're able to differentiate the two when somebody else has their own feelings or when you have your own. You're just able to start seeing things much more clearly. It's creating a great pattern for yourself at this time. And what specifically they're showing me this is going to impact is it's going to impact a lot of your speech and your communication with others. So you'll probably see a highlight of that within the next few months. It'll probably be for like several different months that you'll be able to see this, where what you communicate is, it's just going to be highlighted. It's probably going to resonate with people a lot stronger. Whereas you'll say something, and it feels of your own truth because your vibration just feels so much in alignment, and you're going to find that you affect people in different ways, but more intensely than you have in the past. And you're going to see a lot of that. Sometimes it might be extremely inspiring and you might, really make somebody's day, or you might pull in some kind of connection towards yourself, or you could, drop some kind of ticking time bomb in somebody, and they start thinking about that for days and days, then all of a sudden, they might explode or get upset. But you're just speaking truth. You're speaking truth because your vibration, you're finally in this really good sense of alignment where you do have this flow. And again, Spirit just keeps emphasizing that speech and communication is really going to be important. I also feel that you're able to literally speak things into existence for yourself. There's something with this throat vibration that it just feels so powerful with you specifically, Emily. It feels like this vibration. Think of the throat, think of throat chakra. The throat is located between the hearts, right, and the third eye. So it's like the things that we feel and the things that we see all meet in the middle to create a physical vibration. That's why they call that throat chakra, the thing that manifests things into reality. It's because I'm taking something that I'm seeing and something I'm feeling and creating a physical reaction that's vibrating out. So they're really highlighting throat and throat chakra here. So I think take that information as you will, and continue to focus on that. Also, what Kathy said here, you're doing a great job. These transformations are really making a lasting impact here.
Absolutely, they are. And I don't feel that I honestly, what I'm really getting here too is like when you try to revert back, you're really getting pushed forward. So if you decide at some point, that there's a fear, you're trying to put up borders or whatever it is, or bound, like, walls about moving forward, I'm literally getting a sense of like, they're not going to allow that. Like there will be those tower moments that come through and you'll literally be pushed forward. So you'll kind
I
of
just saw
know,
that.
you'll kind of know if you're not moving forward simply by things maybe not working out exactly how you want them to be. Okay. So it's like, just as a basic example, it's sort of like, if you decided to use the crayons again, all the crayons would start breaking and you'd be like, what the hell's going on? Like, I was able to color with crayons before, but they're all going to be, breaking. So they are going to like literally push you forward in some way, shape, or form, because they really want this expansion for you. And it is actually building your future, which is absolutely beautiful from the pictures that you're drawing for yourself, that masterpiece. That's what I keep hearing. So I hope that helped.
Such a good moment of transformation. I love it. And it's such a good time too, right? Transitioning from Pisces to Aries right now.
Yeah.
We're in a new zodiacal year. And it's just such good timing. It's like this renewed sense of, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, spirits, that refreshment, spring, opening up, things budding and becoming alive in a new, at least here in the Northwestern Hemisphere. That's the case.
Yeah.
Northern Hemisphere, I should say.
You're so welcome, Emily. I'm glad that that makes sense for you. And,
It's our
I
pleasure.
actually love what she said. She's studying to be a speech language pathologist. So there you go. That's, that throat chakra coming
Love
in
those
too.
moments.
And
Love
love
it.
it. I love it. So I think we have time for one more. And
Yeah, we'll do one more lottery here. If there are no other donations, we'll pick out one more or lottery person. But if you did not get a chance to get a reading here with us, you can book us privately. For me, Brandon Hauser, the Dream Teacher, just go to thedreamteacher.com, click on the appointments tab. You can get set up there. I do have some blocked off hours right now, considering that I am in Hawaii. And my time zone is all messed up as far as where I am and what time of day it is. And also having to help take care of two kids right now, I do not have the time as I did. I might have time in my evenings, but that's the issue. My evenings are like your 2 o'clock, a.m., 2, 3, 4 a.m. So send me a message and I'll be able to kind of personally work with you. I will have more time later this week though. As we will have other help here. So just work with me. But I also have products on my website that you can also purchase. My little hypnotherapy thing. Also, my Patreon is up, alive, and well. Collective Conscious Patreon. I'm posting a lot of stuff in there, and I don't know. I am really thinking of doing something, y'all. Something that is a little maybe scandalous. Who knows? It could be a lot of fun. We'll see.
for
But
those, go ahead, Brendan.
you can find the Patreon. It's just the Collective Conscious Patreon, and that link is also on my websites, social media as well. Okay.
For those of you that are looking for a private reading with me, you can reach me at oracleintuitions.com or through my Facebook page, which is actually the best way to reach me, Facebook or Instagram. You can message me. It's Oracle_Intuitions on Instagram or Oracle Intuitions through Facebook. Just private message me. And all my information is actually on my page on Facebook, and or you can take a look at my website. So thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, let's go into the next one. And also make sure you, again, subscribe to the channel. We are adding more to this channel when Brandon, comes out of paradise here. No, that wasn't jealousy. I don't know what you're talking about. But, by all means, please, just send us a message and subscribe, click the bell, so that you can get notified if we decide that we're going to do just spontaneous coming on live. We might just come on, whatever, but we are going to be adding to the show. So thank you so much, everybody.
The donations have been awesome. That
Yeah,
allows
they
us
really
to add to
help.
the show. So thank you all.
We've been putting the donations toward StreamYard, and toward, you know, other projects and stuff like that. So they really do help. And your subscribing really makes a big difference as well. So,
Thank you
right.
all.
I'm actually just putting, I can't see what I'm writing here. So we'll see if the, okay. Apparently I can't type. There we go. Oh, I don't know if I actually,
Oh, excuse me.
oh, it's not come. It's like oracleintuitions.com is what I'm trying to spell here.
Oh.
This is what happens when you have nails. So
I could not imagine navigating the world with nails. My goodness.
yeah, it's probably not my best thing. All right. So yeah, let's pick one more and we'll go from there.
All right. Number 5 is our last one for today. Who is our lucky number 5? That is Lala Josepha.
Okay.
All right.
What was Lala wanting to know?
So this is a long one. Let's see. Josepha Capricorn. Last week was very painful and sad for me, despite my optimism and being positive. I did not match into any residency position I was so sure I was going to. So now I'm wondering, what is my purpose? What am I meant to do? I know in my heart that I am meant to be a physician healing people. So what now? I really want to run your full natal charts, Josepha. I'm going to point you to it just in case you are able to do so on your own. But this is one of my favorite things to do, is to use astrology for this moment and figure out especially purpose. And what you do is you run your natal chart. Astro.com is a great place to do so for free. You need your date of birth, time of birth, and location of birth. You type that information in. Then look up your north node, or sometimes referred to as true node. The true node is really such a beautiful indicator of purpose and forward moving path. For example, I'm Taurus, I've got Capricorn rising, 3 planets in Capricorn, all on the ascendant here, like tons of Capricorn energy. You would think that I should be, just some total boring CEO businessman in charge of all these other people and blah, blah, blah. But my north node is in Pisces. And we all know Pisces. We've got a lot of Pisces here in the show. Pisces is very open and accepting and artistic and spiritual. And it was through following this north node path, but also my own internal soul's calling, that I was able to really sit into a sense of purpose in what I'm doing. So that's my personal advice in just finding out something, especially with that Capricorn sort of pattern, and that's Capricorn sun. It would really appreciate something tactical, tangible that you can grab onto. And looking up that north node in astrology, because it really does explain a lot and indicates a lot. So that's just a logical thing. That's nothing that I was even picking up psychically. I haven't even tapped into your energy yet. That's just one piece of information from a close Capricorn soul to another.
I keep hearing not to give up in regards to being a physician. I feel like there was this disappointment, perhaps like getting in this semester, this year, whatever it is. I just feel that this is not the end. I feel like this is a delay. I don't know exactly why this delay is coming through. It almost feels it. Here's the interesting thing. So sometimes within ourselves, we feel like we are ready for the study, the discipline. We feel like we're in this place that we're ready to expand. But there may be parts of us that are still holding back a little bit, where we're not quite in that place. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to write this essay, but then we turn on the TV. And I'm kind of getting a little bit like that. It feels like there is this energy that is coming through, that spirit really wants you to follow this dream. Like, this is coming through. I keep hearing I keep hearing August. I don't know if that's when a new semester starts or something along that line, but I am hearing do not give up. Do not give up. Like this is going to be something that you will accomplish. In the meantime, I almost feel like there are parts of maybe a holistic healing that you could take a look into, whether this is like Reiki or something along that line. But I'm also hearing, I literally am hearing like paramedic or something. I don't know why I'm hearing that, which is really odd. But
You
um,
know, that's strange because I keep getting this vision of going to homes as well. So it's interesting you keep seeing
yeah,
paramedic.
it almost feels like there's like something like it's 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 just off of being a physician. Like
It's like a physician, but with a twist.
right. Yeah. And I feel like you are not supposed to give up on this. Like this is something that will happen. Um, it might be just a matter of being in a more, grounded place within yourself, in order to, do and it's not saying like you're not going to do the studies or you're not going to do well and I don't mean it anywhere like that. It just feels like there is something that may come about that has more learning to do before you actually get into the actual school. But I do feel school will be this year. So, um,
I'm in agreement here. Definitely, I'm not being shown to give up at all. Spirit keeps showing to be very tenacious. They keep showing me to almost even be to the point of annoying with communication. Um, they're showing me to constantly keep putting things in, keep putting out those little anchors, those little leaflets. Throw out your resume, or keep connecting, or looking wherever you can do your residency. Um, because they show me that all of this is just generating opportunity. They like that consistency and constancy. It just does something different. It's something about the way that your energy is received that it shows this sense of diligence. And whereas other people, it might be different. I've seen these people who've become doctors who are just so weirdly lucky, and it's just the weirdest thing. And I've seen it a lot in the doctor profession, the medical profession, where people become doctors specifically, not nurses, doctors, and they just have that. It's like a horseshoe up their butt. Like something just happens where they constantly get these windfalls and breaks, and they might not even be such a great doctor. Um, but I think with your energy in this field, because it is highly competitive, being tenacious is going to work to your advantage. The other thing I keep being shown is that I don't know, Josepha, if you have like this whole idea of a dream home in your mind. But again, Spirit just keeps showing me this image of this home and showing how this like healing energy takes place over it. I don't know if you thought of working from your home before, like maybe having a home office practice, but they keep showing me to pin this idea of this dream home in your mind because it's serving as a moment of inspiration. I don't know why that feels so important, but they just keep reiterating it over and over. And this is if your goals have become clouded over at this time and they're trying to get you to have that clear vision of what you're working for in your mind. Again, it also might very well be that you have a home office where you're able to do stuff out of and be a physician out of your home office. I understand you need to have a residency, in order to be able to get your credentials and stuff, which does it still feels like that is to happen. Again, you have to be tenacious with it, almost to the point of being annoying. But the point right now is to really hold steady that vision. Why are you doing this? What is the real dream behind it? Because you are meant to be a physician. You are meant to be helping and healing people. What
So
is
I
this?
literally pulled out the Nine of Pentacles as we were talking. And then and the Nine of Pentacles is so much an individual success card. Okay. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you can't get any more successful individually than that Nine of Pentacles. And exactly as Brent, it's like building your future, whether this is financial, within your dreams, whatever it is, physically, emotionally, spiritually. This is very much an individual card of building your own success. And I literally kept hearing pull pull a card. And so I had the deck in front of me and I just reached in and pulled it out, and that's exactly what I got. And I absolutely love this. So keep going. Absolutely keep going, because I feel like this is not the end. This is just the beginning. And even though you were very disappointed, I feel like that disappointment is going to turn into a success. Okay. Like, this isn't the end for you. You're going to have way more success in this. So I do feel you doing your dream job. Absolutely, I do. And so I hope that's helped everybody. We really appreciate you guys joining us today.
Yes.
We're going to send lots of love and hugs to Michelle. Hopefully, I'll hear soon how she's doing. And hopefully she'll be here next week with us. Again, Brandon, you can reach him at thedreamteacher.com. You can reach me at oracleintuitions.com. We hope to see you here next week. We're so happy and excited that you guys were able to join us, just to be here with us. Thank you for everything, everybody. And take care. Have an amazing week and many blessings.
Aloha.
Hello. Bye.